Here's the deal. We got 10 games remaining in the MLB regular season, a week and a half of baseball left. How crazy is that? It ends not this weekend, but the weekend following. Jack, Peter, Just Baseball Show today, Wednesday, September 18th. And we are going to talk about the American League. We are going to talk about all 15 teams in the American League. We are going to give you the one thing that we are watching for the final 10 games of Major League Baseball's regular season. Sound good? Who are we brought to you by?
BetMGM, the king of sports books. Remember, folks, download BetMGM on iOS or Android and use promo code JustBaseball. Why? You get a first bet offer up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your bet was to lose. So what do? Well, you download BetMGM, use promo code JustBaseball, deposit at least $10 and place a wager. And if that bet were to lose, you'll get that amount back up to $1,500 in bonus bets. And if it wins, congratulations, you won a bet. But remember, gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER, must be 21 or older. Terms and conditions apply. Jack, I'm kind of surprised that I got that off without stuttering because I'm already off to a horrible start on this podcast. You saw it before we press the record button. Eileen, I'm about to sneeze and nothing comes out. And I'm right on the precipice of it exploding, but it doesn't. Now my brain's in a funk. So if I'm worse than usual on this podcast, I do have an excuse. There's a sneeze stuck in my brain. There's extra air in there where it should be brain, but it's just air.
Got it. And that isn't a permanent problem. That's just something that exists in the scope of a sneeze.
It's almost like when there's already a lot of air in my head and we're adding more right before it starts, we're not going to have a great show. It's a matter of fact.
Yeah, no, like when you bring a gazpacho up to your lips and you expect it to be ice cold and it's room temp, it's going to make you feel like your mouth is on fire. I get it.
I don't understand that reference even a little bit.
I need to apologize to you because as you geared up for that sneeze, I said, bless you.
You jinxed me.
I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Well, no, apologize to the audience because they're about to hear stuff come out of my head that's like, well, that's a brain dead air take.
But at the end of the day, that falls on you.
No, but I have an excuse. We said that at the beginning. I have an excuse now. I get a pass for the show.
Yeah, but
all right, let's stop talking about how I'm an idiot. Let's get into what we're doing.
We again are talking about all 15 teams in the American League. I've got them AL West, AL Central, or AL East, AL Central, AL West. All of a sudden, I have the air in my head with the sneeze thing too. But I've got the division leaders at the top, and we work to the division cellar dwellers. And that is how we're going to go about this. And we're going to tell you the thing that we are monitoring for the final 10 games of the regular season. But before that, there is something that we are monitoring for two guys for the remainder of the regular season. It has to do with the best pitcher in the National League and the best pitcher in the American League, Mr. App.
Yes, we are on Triple Crown watch. Chris Sale leads the National League in ERA. He's first at a 2.35. He's also leading in wins, 17, and he's leading in strikeouts. Right now, he has the best chance to win the Triple Crown in the National League, but we ain't done yet. Tarik Skubal of the Detroit Tigers, 2.50 ERA, currently leads all starters in the American League, 16 wins. He's tied for first. And the Tigers lately have been limiting his innings a little bit. Are they going to let him go 6-7 innings in order to get those extra wins in order to win the Triple Crown? We don't know yet. But he does have 214 strikeouts, which leads all American League starters again. So he's a few wins away from winning the Triple Crown, and Sales pretty much got it locked up in the bag. And the last time this happened, because, my airhead brain thought, has this ever happened in Major League Baseball history? Two pitchers in the same year winning the Triple Crown back in 2011, Justin Verlander, Clayton Kershaw. So that's the level that these two guys have been pitching at, where you're in the same bucket as those two,
right?
13, 14 years ago.
And that is full season. So the last time it happened in a season, regardless of duration, was Shane Bieber in 2020. But Bieber won 8 games and he hit 122 guys. That it all led it was a 60-game season, but Bieber was awesome. Let me just tell you, I think we should appreciate the pitching Triple Crown a little bit more than we do.
I agree.
If we saw a hitter on Triple Crown watch, it would be all anybody could freaking talk about, right?
Yeah.
Pitching wise, I'm going to read you the names of the pitchers that have won a pitching triple crown since 1940, and you tell me if there is a fluke on this list. Okay.
Yes.
Since 1940, Bob Feller did it in 1940. Hal Newhouser did it in 1945. Then Sandy Koufax did it 3 times, 63, 65, 66.
So
In
good.
72, Steve Carlton did it. Then Dwight Gooden did it in 85. Then Clemens did it in 97 and 98. Pedro Martinez did it in 99. Randy Johnson did it in 2002. Then Johan Santana with the Twins in 06. Jake Peavy with the Padres in 07. And then Kershaw, Verlander, and Shane Bieber. There's not a single fluke on that list. And it's not like Robbie Ray fell ass backwards into a pitching triple crown. It's not like Rick Porcello fell ass backwards into a pitching triple crown. You need to be the best pitcher in your league by a country mile. And if you gave Skeens 30 starts, I understand that there is a conversation there between Skeens and Sale. But at the end of the day, Sale is so far and away the best pitcher in the National League this year. And Tarek Skubal is so far and away the best pitcher in the American League this year.
I'm glad that you brought up those names because I think it puts it in perspective how rare it is to truly win a triple crown. And the guys who have won it multiple times are first ballot Hall of Famers, and the guys who have won it once. A lot of them won Cy Youngs. A lot of them are some of the better pitchers of our generation.
Some of my all-time favorites, dude, a Johan and a Jake Peavy. Those are sick names.
Doc Gooden in 85, one of the best seasons ever. So I think the reason that it's not taken as seriously as the hitting triple crown is because there have been a few more pitching triple crowns than there have been hitting triple crowns. But also I think the stat wins, when we talk about win losses, we make fun of it on the show all the time. Some of us use it in narratives in order to help their case. Some people realize that, you know, it's not that important of a stat. Whatever you want to use it as, the general baseball audience is kind of throwing it out. So when that's one of the 3 criteria, people don't seem to care. Because again, a lot of it is a little bit of luck, right? It's not your fault. Like Paul Skeens against the Cardinals on Monday. Throws 6 innings, 1 earned. He was phenomenal. What was the final score? 4-0 Cardinals. Andre Palante just outdueled him. Is that Skeens' fault? No, but I think he got the loss. I don't know exactly.
He did. He was
but
pitcher record. He got the loss.
I know we didn't get the win, basically.
Yes.
So, and I think it's also more impressive that the Braves are not the best team in Major League Baseball, but Sale leads and wins.
Tigers.
The Tigers certainly are not one of the best teams in baseball. They're fighting, though. We're going to keep talking about them, and we're fired up, but they're only a few games over 500. And Skubal has 16 wins. So even circumstance for the wins for both of these guys, really impressive. The ERAs are crazy. And the fact that they're well over 200 strikeouts and like 170-ish innings just so shows the potency of their stuff. We are definitely on Triple Crown watch.
Yes. Hitting wise, it's off because Bobby Witt's 11 points higher than Judge. And again, if Judge was within 5 points of Bobby Witt, this would be leading everything. Versus now it's like, oh, I just saw an Instagram post 2 days ago.
Yeah,
I'm going to see one in 4 more days.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, we got 2 guys to win the pitching triple crown in the same year that, you know, for the first time since Verlander and Kershaw, and only the second time in the modern era that has happened, only after 2011. Now, Kershaw and Verlander at that point, I think, were the clear first ballot Hall of Famers at the peak of their powers, versus Sale is like, he's not a Hall of Famer yet. He needs to do this a little bit more. And Skubal is the young guy on the rise. It's a different narrative around them than a Kershaw and a Verlander doing it. But still, going back to my first point, like, I think that this should be celebrated a bit more than it actually is.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's sick. I mean, this is just awesome. Like, whenever you get a chance to see a little bit of history in baseball and enjoy excellent pitching, I'm all for it.
No doubt. American League East, you ready to do it?
I am.
So again, we are laying out one thing that we want to see from each team for the final 10 games of MLB's regular season. Start with the Yankees, who are the division leader. What is your one thing you want to see?
So I'm going to start with a quote, and this is from manager Aaron Boone. This is asked a few days ago. It might have been asked on Monday, but very recently. I like from a lineup standpoint, our ability and capability right now. It's literally about getting a few guys rolling, and I think we can explode. That's the quote. So what does he mean by that? Well, the Yankees have been playing generally around 500 baseball since the All-Star break. They've been good, not great. They still are 3 games up in the division. And I think the Yankees right now are setting their sights on winning a World Series. And I think that's what the quote means from Aaron Boone. He's talking about getting a couple of guys rolling so they can show to the rest of Major League Baseball that they can win the World Series. So who is he talking about? I think, first up, he's talking about 3 different guys. I'm going to start with Anthony Rizzo. Ever since he returned in September, he hasn't been here for that long, but for the entire month, basically, he's got a 539 OPS since returning, and generally has not had a good year at first base, where you need to hit. Like, Rizzo's defense is good, but it's not so good that it warrants a first baseman with a 650 OPS, or recently a 539 OPS. He has to get rolling. Jason Dominguez, 3 for 16 since coming back up. And those 3 hits are all singles. Of course, it's been 16 ABs. We're going to give him a little bit of time. But I think that answers what Aaron Boone is saying. We got to get a few guys rolling, and I think we can explode. And Jason Dominguez is an enormous X factor for this Yankees lineup. And last, and certainly not least, Anthony Volpe. I said in the group chat yesterday, I found a stat that made me really, really sad. Andrew Benintendi, yes, that Andrew Benintendi, the one who's getting paid $6 billion by the White Sox.
Correct, yeah.
Left the Yankees. He has a higher WRC plus than Anthony Volpe does this year. Anthony Volpe in the month of September has a 339 OPS, Jack. 339. Can't happen, right? Cannot happen. The defense is great, sure, but we can't have an auto out down there. We just can't.
Yeah.
Is Dominguez not ready? Does he need a few more plate appearances then he launches off? Is Rizzo actually cooked? Or does he have a few big time hits left in the tank? Because all we need is a few good weeks in October. That's it.
Yeah.
We can forget everything that happened in the regular season. Can we get a few good weeks? Those 3 guys I'm looking at, we got to get them rolling.
I know the Rizzo one was rhetorical, but if it wasn't, how would you answer that?
What do you mean?
Is he cooked, or does he have a few more big hits left in him?
I'm never going to count out a guy like Anthony Rizzo. It's not like he's 40.
Yeah.
But at the same time, have I seen anything this year that gives me any evidence that something is about to click? No, I can't say that.
Yeah.
But as a baseball fan who's watched a lot of Anthony Rizzo, I know he's not just, I mean, I don't think he's lost all talent.
Yeah.
But ever since he knocked against Fernando Tatis Jr. and got that concussion, he just hasn't been the same guy. Now, I don't know if that's still affecting him. I don't know if it's other injuries that he sustained, but he hasn't been the same guy. But when the lights turn on, can he be a 770 OPS, right? I'm not asking for a ton. Jason Dominguez, are you ready or are you not? Volpe,
yeah.
Can you show us? That's where we're at right now with the Yankees. That's what I'm watching.
Gotcha. For me, I want Cole to see one go through. That's what I wrote down. And by that, I mean a shooter that has started 0 for 7 from beyond the arc. They need to see one go through because then that resets them for the game. And I need to see Cole in his final 2 regular season starts, see one go through and look like Garrett Cole before we get to the postseason. It was a really disappointing last start against the Boston Red Sox. Okay, 2 more goes. Even then, I'm looking at the last 5 starts. Like, you could look at, what was this, August 22nd against Cleveland, and it's like, oh, that was vintage Cole. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs against Cleveland. He K'd 2 and he walked 5. Like, that's not really Cole. I'm looking at, his last road start against the Cubs. It was 6 innings, no earned. He K'd 7. Okay, but 2 unearned runs. I want to see Garrett Cole look like the best pitcher on the planet for 5 innings, one of his next 2 times out. And then I know they have that one when they get to the ALDS.
I see what you mean. I will give Garrett Cole, I think, more credit than you're giving him in his last, few starts, because even if we're going back to the start of August, 5 2/3, 2 earned, 5 1/3 in his next start, 1 earned, 10 Ks, 6 innings against the Tigers, no earned, 8 Ks. Against the Guardians, you're right, 5 walks, weird, but he didn't allow a run. right? Against Washington, 5 innings, 3 earned. Against the Rangers, 6 innings, 1 earned. Cubs, 6 innings, no earned. And then, of course, that bad start. So I think he's been. Go ahead.
No, I just want to see that early August
Yes.
show up again in late September.
And the reason I'm not completely disagreeing with you is because that start against the Red Sox could have really screwed with his mental.
Yes.
After you give this,
Yeah.
Devers walks, you give up 7. The media is talking about it. I'm talking about it. I'm pissed. I'm tweeting about it.
Are you pissed?
I don't know if of course I was pissed.
Yeah.
That was the most upset I've been at the Yankees all season long.
So
And they've had some blunders.
Did you see the clip of Plouffe and Chris Rose talking about it?
I did not.
Chris Rose is Team U, where it's like, that's soft as shit. And Plouffe was saying, what's the difference? Like, you're saving 4 bullets. I think I actually fall closer to the Plouffe tree than I do the Chris Rose and Peter Apple tree.
Nah, that's bullshit. What do you mean? Like, to save bullets?
He kills him, dude. Like, that's my thing.
Arm even broke it down to it. He's hitting 350 against him. He's getting a hit 35% of the time. It's in the 4th inning with nobody on. You're the best pitcher on earth. You're getting paid $30 million a year. Go get him out. Because what that did was set a precedent for the rest of Gerrit Cole's career in New York and the rest of Rafael Devers' time in Boston, which I think is going to be a very long time.
Very long.
They're going to face each other a lot more times. And in the back of Cole's head, I think, because he's a human being,
he already knew it.
He already knew it. And now he knows it like so much because it's always asked in the media. He showed everybody what he truly thinks about the matchup. I hated it. And to reduce it down to, well, he saved 4 pitches. Fuck that. What do you mean? Throw 4 sliders that were never going to be close. Whatever. Is he going to have elbow problems from that? Sure. I think that response, and I love Trevor Plouffe. That's why I feel like I could say that's bullshit, because normally I agree with him. That, I think he's off. I think you're off. I don't understand how anybody can be like, oh, it's okay. That was the objective, in my opinion. Like, I couldn't.
I understand that pitching around him and intentionally walking him look very different.
Way different.
I think in essence, they are kind of the same thing.
Not really. I mean, you don't have to just throw 4 auto balls that were never even close, but just don't throw anything down the middle.
Yeah, easier said than done.
He chases all the time. And if he keeps hitting, whatever. Like, it's a regular season game. In the 4th inning, you have Judge and Soto. You can come back even if he hits a solo shot. There was nobody on.
Don't get me wrong. I thought it was pretty weak, but I didn't want to say you are soft. You're a very soft human being after that.
I don't think Gerrit Cole is a soft human being. I'm saying that's the softest shit I've ever seen him do. Right? We all do soft things sometimes. That was objectively soft. Charmin Ultra soft. It was. Of course it was. Yeah, but I don't want to harp on this point so long. We have so many other teams to get to.
Right. Let's go to Baltimore here. I need to figure out my feelings towards Dean Kremer. That's where I stand.
Okay. Yeah.
So last 2 starts for Dean Kremer have been awesome. 13 innings, 7 hits, 2 unearned runs, I think, or 2 runs, 1 of which earned. K'd 14 in his last 13 innings. If I feel good about Dean Kremer, I feel so much better about this O's team when they get to the postseason, when they get to a wild card series. And like, I don't like it, but all of a sudden he's got 2 good starts, and all I need is for him to be hot when they get there.
Okay, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wrote down, are we just rolling with the hot hands on both sides of the pitching staffs?
Yeah.
In the rotation and in the bullpen. So you know how you just asked me about Rizzo? Like, do you think he's cooked? Do you actually believe what you just said about Dean Kremer?
No, again, like, I need 2 more starts to figure out how I feel about Dean Kremer.
Okay, so here's what I wrote down. Who the fuck is starting game 3? Who's starting game 3?
Yeah.
Albert Suarez?
Dean Kremer.
And Orioles fans are going to say, Peter, shut up. Albert Suarez. He's been really, really good. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying, though, for all those watching on YouTube? Maybe people listening, I'm giving you the face where it's like, do we believe it? That's what we want game 3? I know he's been good in the regular season, but we know that playoff baseball is a different animal. Are we okay? We're good, Orioles fans? Okay, we're great. Maybe it's Grayson Rodriguez. I can't really find much. When I looked at how's his injury going, only articles I could find is going back to like September 8th through a bullpen session, looked okay. The Orioles, at least the word is that he should be back relatively soon. So is it Grayson? Again, that's my question. I don't know. Could it be him? Who's the closer? Yennier Cano hasn't pitched since September 11th due to soreness. Jacob Webb is back from the IL, but of course he's coming back from the IL. I don't think that we immediately slot him in as a closer, but he's been a good pitcher. Is it Dominguez? Is it Gregory Soto? Is it Craig Kimbrell? 6 different Orioles relievers have recorded saves this year. So I think that they're just going to go with the hot hand in the bullpen, and I think they're going to go with the hot hand in the rotation. So what I'm looking at from the Orioles over these last week and a half, 2 weeks, who are the hot hands in the rotation and in the bullpen? Because Albert Suarez, if he keeps shoving, right, he pitches today as we're recording.
Yeah.
Against the Giants, against Blake Snell. If he outduels Blake Snell and then has another really good start, I'll eat my words, right? He ended the season hot. He's had a good year. He deserves it. Grayson comes back. Do you give it to him? If Dean Kramer, to your point, Jack, if he has another 2 great starts, where are we going? Bullpen too. That's just what I'm watching with the Orioles. I'm not saying it's bad. Like, these guys aren't bad at all. Who is it going to be, though? That's my question.
You're running out of time with Grayson. And as of 44 minutes ago, Grayson Rodriguez throwing a bullpen in the Orioles at Camden Yards. So while Ramon Arias was taking BP on field, might I add. So you're getting a little bit healthier, but it's September 17th and you're running out of time. You have a week of Major League Baseball after this conclusion of the AAA season this week. So if G-Rod wants to get on rehab for 15 to 25 pitches, it's got to happen literally this weekend. And if he's throwing a pen right now, he is not tracking for that. He will throw live BP next week. And then all of a sudden, welcome to the postseason, Grayson. Damn, that's scary. I would think in Kramer.
Yeah. Yeah, you would, right? Maybe over Suarez.
Yeah, I would think so. He's hot.
Yeah. I mean, my other one too, this one is just, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be watching for this, but are the Orioles planning on having Jackson Holliday start second in the playoffs?
Probably.
He's been terrible. Now, I understand for his development, he's 20 years old. I'm not going to judge him long term, but right now, I don't know if he can be the option. Like, I feel like I have to get Ramon Arias in the lineup instead of him. His defense has been fine, but he can't hit. He's 20. Just going to throw him out there in the playoffs and see how he does? I don't know. Maybe that is the plan.
Would you rather throw a healthy Jackson Holliday out there, or would you rather cold turkey Ramon Arias off the shelf back in there?
I mean, it hasn't been that long on the shelf for Ramon Arias. It's not like he's been out like 4 months or anything.
You're right.
And again, if you give him this last 10, 12 games to get back in the swing of things, he's a professional player who's been there before versus a 20-year-old who can't hit in the regular season right now.
Yeah.
Now, I know Ramon Arias is mostly a third baseman, so they're going to have to mix and match there a little bit, and maybe they do just roll with Holliday. I'd love to see Holliday as a baseball fan in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But as a guy who's analyzing the game right now, I'm watching him. He looks overmatched again.
Yeah.
So I'm watching.
Got you. Let's go to the Boston Red Sox. For me, it's a play on like how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Think about the Roman. 29 games for Roman Anthony in Worcester. Hitting 327 with a 935 OPS. Made the jump from AA Portland to AAA Worcester. The K rate has dropped from 26% to 19%. Walk rate is up 3 points from 13% to 16%. And he's rocking a AAA WRC plus of 147 in 29 games. I'm not saying get him up right now. All I'm saying is that Worcester has a really talented lineup. And when you become mathematically eliminated, I would take some time this week to watch Roman Anthony play baseball on the NESN app, on MILB TV, whatever it is. You're going to see something interesting. Quinn Priester is throwing the hell out of the ball right now, who you acquired for Nick York, who just got up with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Kyle Teal is in that lineup, dude. There's just something to watch in Worcester. And I would think about turning those games on if you have an hour to spare and watching Roman Anthony.
Question for you. First off, I want to address the bar you just laid out. I think about a Roman Empire. Let's think about the Roman, transitioning that into Roman Anthony.
Yeah, you bet.
I mean, blew me away.
You bet.
Number two, my question is, I think the Red Sox were the hardest team to have something to watch
Yeah.
over the last stretch because they're exactly average as we sit here today. They are 75 and 75.
Yeah.
They're 4 games back of the wild card, which seems attainable, but Fangraphs gives them a 2.6% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So in 2.6% of simulations, they're in.
Yeah.
I don't think that's likely. Like, I'm not watching for that, especially
You
when the
don't think
Tigers and
2.6% is likely?
no, I don't. When the Tigers and the Mariners are taking these leaps and they're much closer.
Yeah.
And then if you look around the team, like, I kind of already know who the guys are,
Exactly.
right? In the rotation, you're not kicking out Bayo. You're not kicking out Pavetta. You're not obviously not kicking out Howe, Cutter Crawford. Like, these are your guys. I'm not watching to see if Criswell is going to earn a spot in next year's rotation.
At the big league level, I was thinking like, oh, I'm intrigued by Richard Fitz's final 2 starts.
Yeah, like, I'm not. But one player that I am intrigued with that I want to keep watching, Ceddanne Rafaela.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said it yourself. Roman Anthony's coming up. Jarren Duran is a freak of nature. Willie Abreu is going to finish 3rd, 4th in American League Rookie of the Year. Dude's got a cannon. He's got an OPS over 800. Unless you trade him, he's sticking, right? You're not sending him down. It would be to acquire pitching or he's going to keep playing. You already have your DH in Yoshida. Is Rafaela in the plans in the outfield? Because he flashed. He flashed a really good month there in July. And he had been slowly picking it up. It went to May, 698 OPS, then 713 while hitting 300, then an 812 OPS. But then in August, he struggled again, back down to 655 OPS. Then in September, he's been really bad, right? I know it's only 37 ABs, but he's got a 540 OPS. And now I know the guy's 23 years old. It's really hard to judge the guy. But I guess my lone thing that I'm watching with the Red Sox, does he end on a good note or does he end on a poor note?
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to see what happens. He's 23. I'm not going to overly judge him. I just want to see what happens. So that would be my only thing at the big league level. You're more tapped into the minor league, so that's where that comes from. And that's probably, if I'm a Red Sox fan, I agree with you. But on the big league level, like, I am watching Rafaela because he's also playing different positions too.
For sure.
Right? Like, where do you fit in? Are you the second baseman?
No
right?
doubt.
Are you a shorts? I don't know. We'll see. That's what I'm watching.
Well, and then Worcester, like, I know Christian Campbell hurt himself last week. I'm not sure if he's going to play at all for the final week of the AAA season, but Christian Campbell is coming. Is he the second baseman? I don't know. There are questions in a lot of different places, I would say. And Roman is playing some center field, so go take a gander and watch that happen. Tampa. I want Junior Caminero to turn the flashes into his game, just outright. His last 5 games, 0 for 5, 0 for 4, 1 for 4, 3 for 4 with 3 doubles, 0 for 4. I'm not asking him to be 3 for 4 with 3 doubles every night. I'm just like, fair.
I want to watch it.
No doubt. Me too. He has games where you cannot take your eyes off of him.
Yeah.
And then he has Tuesdays where it's like, oh, yeah, 0 for 4 with a K. It's whatever. We'll get him next time. And then it's, oh, my God, I cannot believe you're a real person that plays baseball. Why did you choose this to showcase your athletic gifts in? And then the next day, it's like, oh, we'll just wait for the next one, too. I just want a taste of it pretty much every night.
I love that one. I didn't really think of it that way, but I agree with you. I have a different one, and it kind of relates to Junior Caminero kind of taking over the third base position.
Yeah.
What is the Rays outfield situation going to look like next year? Do you know? Because I don't. And I don't know if the Rays do. And I don't know if Rays fans do, because they have a couple of options. Jose Siri has an 80 WRC+. He's a good defender, but is he the center fielder? Or is it Johnny DeLuca, who you acquired? 74 WRC+. Josh Lowe is like the guy. I assume he's going to stick, but he's had a rough year. He's been injured, and he's got a 95 WRC+. Remember, 100 is league average. It's a league average hitter. These guys are all below. What about Dylan Carlson? Remember when I took my victory lap on Dylan Carlson because he went like 3 for 7 in his first 2 games?
Yes.
I made sure to take it there because he has a 75 WRC+.
There you go.
Christopher Morel. Remember when I took my victory lap about 3 games in because I had to? Yeah, good thing I took it then because he's got a 69 WRC plus. And the reason I bring up Morel is Morel's not your third baseman anymore because you have Caminero. He's not your first baseman because you have Yandy Diaz. He's definitely not your shortstop because he doesn't play shortstop, and you have Jose Caballero and then Brandon Lau at second base. But Lau's pending free agency. Like, what are they going to do? Who is going to end the season on a hot note in this Rays outfield and maybe make your job a little bit safer come the end of the season and the start of next year? What are the Rays going to do? And who is going to shine above the rest among all of these tweeners? Because they've been playing like tweeners. So who's not going to play like that? That's what I'm watching with the Rays.
Yeah. I appreciate that one. And I don't think that they know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about what they're even doing in AA, man. Like Xavier Isaac is playing first. Trey Morgan is playing some corner outfield. Chandler Simpson is Chandler Simpson, but is he going to hit the
Impact
ball
them.
beyond
Billy
the
Hamilton.
infield dirt?
Yeah, is he Billy Hamilton?
Is he? Yeah. So there are some questions that I need answered in terms of the Tampa outfield. I feel like we laud the Tampa pitching, the Tampa pitching, the Tampa pitching.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got a hit.
They got a hit. They haven't. They
Yeah.
strike out a lot.
They don't have a catcher.
Yeah.
Their outfield situation stinks. They have Junior and Yandy, but like that can't be your only offense.
Yeah.
They could have the best pitching in the world. And then they could end up like the Mariners. But the Mariners even arguably have better like pieces, more talent than the Rays do.
Right.
And the Rays starting staff hasn't proved that they can go full seasons like the Mariners have. So like best case scenario, if none of these guys materialize, you're the Mariners. That's your upside.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at on the Rays.
Last but not least, the Toronto Blue Jays. Can Spencer Horwitz win American League Player of the Month? That's my thing. 12 games, hitting 343 with 7 extra base hits and 1143 OPS. He's been killing the ball in the month of September. I just want to see him finish September and like contest for American League Player of the Month.
Yeah, I love that one. Because he's a big part of their core moving forward. And that's my thing that I'm watching with the Blue Jays. Who else? Who is fighting for a job right now? That's what I'm watching.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they have a few. Davis Schneider. And he's fighting for a job. Nathan Lukes. A little bit older, but he's hitting like 330. Does he have a job next year? Addison Barger. Struggling, but he's one of their better prospects. Does he have a job next year? Ernie Clement. Right? It's all these guys right on the precipice. And I'm not just talking about do they have a job? Like, are you a part of the Blue Jays' future? Or are you on the team until they can find a better replacement?
Yeah.
And that's how all these guys fit in. On the pitching side, Eric Swanson has proven to be a good reliever in the past, has looked better lately, but we're still staring down the barrel of a 5 ERA because he came up and was horrific. Just it is what it is. I look at the rotation. Bowden Francis has earned a spot in their rotation next year, especially with Manoah struggling.
For sure.
Are the Blue Jays going to go get a starter, or do they feel like they have one with Yariel Rodriguez? Right? So there's a lot of guys where it's like, are you a part of the future? Are you a time buyer? Or are we getting rid of you? That's where all of these guys, I think, fit in. And I think the last 11 games, if one of them gets super hot, I think they could keep a job. Like, I think it's that close with all of them because none of the guys I named are bad players by any stretch. They can all contribute to a major league team. But in what role with the Blue Jays?
I think the odd man out is Nathan Lucas that you mentioned. Like, I just don't see.
But he's been the best of all of them. That's the thing. That's why
I've watched enough Nathan Lucas to know, like, hey, he's not a big piece of it moving forward. But hey, you know what? Results are results, and they're undeniable results right now. So
and
I hear you on that front.
I agree with you. That's the only reason I added him because he's hitting like 350.
I know.
I was like, well, I mean, he's kind of doing what I want from the other guys in order to earn a job.
Right. And everybody else, I say, yes, yes, yes. And then I'm like, yeah, like Nathan Lucas is not a sexy name. I don't know. And that might just be me. So that's what we got. Before we get to the American League Central, I do want to tell you about our friends at Game Time because it is all about live events. We know that some of the best memories are made at a marquee sporting event, your favorite band performing in your city, or a comedian that just cracks you up. Now, Game Time can help you out with their new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even faster and easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to only show you, pardon. There we go, tripped up a little bit there. Only show you incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. It's a simple process. Open up an event. I see 3 tiers of deals fed to me off the top. Super deals, amazing deals, great deals. Of course, I'm going all in on the super deal. You have the opportunity to essentially curate your deal to fit your priorities on Game Time Picks. So go check out Game Time Picks. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. You get panoramic seat views before checkout. You also get their lowest price guarantee, which means if you find a better deal in the same section and row, Game Time credits you 110% of the difference. And Game Time covers your purchases with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code JUSTBASEBALL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code
JUSTBASEBALL
for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
Let's talk about the American League Central here. And let's start with the division leader here, the Cleveland Guardians. I'll go first with Cleveland.
We're going to have the same one. I guarantee you we're going to have the same one.
Are you sure? So much like my Garrett Cole thing, I want to see Gavin Williams see one go through again. Is that the same one?
I just went deeper, but it's the same thing.
Got it. So Gavin Williams was amazing in Kansas City on September 2nd. Like amazing. And then he didn't get out of the first inning in LA against the Dodgers. And then he was very meh against Tampa. I want to see him be really good again.
Okay, so I'm just going to take it a step further because I agree with you. Gavin Williams, if we're doing the taking it a step further, my eyes are closest on Gavin Williams. So I want to make that clear. Exactly what you just said. But again, who is the playoff rotation? Who is it? We've talked about this before, but let's really talk about it. Tanner Bibee has game 1. Then who? Gavin Williams has the most upside, right? We keep penciling him into the number 2. He's got a 5.24 ERA. Do we know that? Does everybody know that? Because I didn't even really know that. I watch Gavin Williams and I see it. And I see the Guardians win more of his games than they don't. But he objectively has not been good this year. Can he be? Of course he can. But is he starting game 2, the guy with a 5.24? Maybe he is, because Matthew Boyd might be next up. He's given up 7 runs. Now, 3 of them have only been earned. But if you've been watching Matt Boyd over his last 2 starts, it does not look like the Matt Boyd, the 5 previous, right? And those 7 runs, 3 earned, it's not in 12 innings total. It's in 7 innings total. He's getting beat up and getting out of the game quickly. The Guardians are just going straight to their bullpen. That's who you want starting game 2? What about Alex Cobb? Is he even healthy? Should return soon. The latest report should be good to go, but an Alex Cobb returning from his 2nd injury just this year, how is he going to look? Joey Cantillo has a 0.75 ERA in September. He has an ERA over 7 in the previous 2 months before that. Now, I know we all see the Vulcan change. We see it. I see it. You see it. We all see it. Peace. What's a Spock thing?
It's like the Spock grip.
Yeah. Whatever. We see it. Can that hold up? I don't know. That's my question. That's what I'm going to be watching. Ben Lively, 3.87 ERA, 15 1/3 over his last 4 starts. That equates to about 4 innings a start, a little bit less. His career high in innings going into this year was 88 2/3. He's now up over 140. Do you want him starting? And this comes from Peyton. He texted us in this group chat. I just added this at the end because it blew my mind. The Guardians are 25th in starter ERA while being 5th overall in ERA when you combine both the rotation and the bullpen. That's absurd.
So that tells you that the bullpen has been awesome ERA wise, but they're
Has
also
been like legendary, not just
yes,
awesome. Awesome doesn't even do them
no,
justice.
legendary. They've been legendary in terms of ERA, in terms of run prevention. They've also eaten a ton of innings.
Ton of innings. Are they going to be okay? So that's my question. That's what I'm watching. Kind of like the Orioles, but the Orioles, they've got more in place and they've got higher end guys in place. With the Guardians, I know the bullpen is fantastic and I know that they're going to be able to put on band-aids. But is the gash too big in the rotation that you just can't cover it with enough band-aids?
Right.
That's my question for them.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
We'll see. I would assume so many short leashes. And at what point in October does that bullpen get taxed?
Yeah.
And we'll
Because I
find out.
mean, they're human beings.
Right.
Like
Like, oh man, I'm working for the bajillionth game in a row.
Cade Smith deserves rookie of the year votes. He's a rookie. Like, how much can you rely on him?
Right.
Tim Herron, when the hell has he ever done this before?
No.
Gaddis is a fucking beast. Like Gaddis is just. I mean, I got something for big husky righties with beards who just throw 97 at the
Fair.
top. I just have a thing for those guys. So
Understood.
I inherently trust Gaddis because of that.
See, I want all my pitchers to look like Clayton Andrews. He was a Yankee for a minute. You know who I'm talking about? The
Clayton?
5'6" lefty.
No,
Clayton Andrews. Yeah, Google
I
that
don't
name
remember
while I
that.
bring up the Royals. He's awesome. I love my 5'6" crafty lefties.
And
Just
that shouldn't take anything away from Cade Smith. Like, I'm just saying, I'm a big Gaddis guy. I'm a big fan of all of these guys, but how much truly can we? We'll see.
I think that closer is pretty volatile. I think he's kind of finicky.
I was watching the. I mean, he's still throwing 102-mile-an-hour cutters. So,
Yeah,
like, forget everything I said about needing more rest. I think he looks better.
he's the best reliever. Like this is
Ever. I mean, it's unbelievable.
as good of inning spurts as I've like ever seen.
You have no shot.
I don't remember Gagne that well.
Yeah, me neither.
I
I mean, I
remember,
remember Mariano, and
yeah,
it's the closest thing to that. I mean, Britain that year.
I remember Britton,
Britain was unbelievable.
and
That
I remember
Singer
Trinan in
Trinan.
Oakland.
Yeah.
Trinan for a minute in Oakland. I was like, "You're kidding me."
Remember Devin Williams in 2020? He gave up like a
Yeah,
run.
yeah. There was
One
nothing
run.
else to do, so I
Yeah.
watched Devin Williams pitch. It's like, "Oh wow, this is nasty."
I just that whole 2020 season was hilarious. You go back to that year, like Devin Williams in the year 2020 had 27 innings, one run. That was his year.
His year 27 innings, one run. His year was 2 months.
Like, what do we do with that?
I don't know,
I don't
but
know.
he has a rookie of the year to show for it.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Kansas City Royals here. What do you got?
So, will Bobby Witt Jr. have the greatest season ever as a shortstop? Currently, he is at 9.9 F4 with a 167 WRC plus. I'm going to run you through the three best seasons that he needs to get over in order to have the best season of all time. 1948, Lou Boudreau with Cleveland had a 10
Boudreau.
Boudreau? I looked
Yes.
up the pronunciation. I even went on YouTube, looked it up. Lou Boudreau? Are you sure?
Boudreau.
All right, I looked up the pronunciation. Cleveland fans, let us know. Lou Boudreau with Cleveland, 10.9 F4, 164 WRC plus. 1991, Cal Ripken with Baltimore, 10.6 F4, 154 WRC plus. And 2002, Alex Rodriguez with the Rangers, 10 F4, 158 WRC plus. Bobby Witt Jr., with his current numbers, have already passed 1982 Robin Yount, 1984 Cal Ripken, 1959 Ernie Banks. And I want to remind everybody, those guys that I'm saying he passed are Hall of Famers. I mean, Robin Yount, Ernie Banks, Cal Ripken, these are some of the greatest shortstops of all time. Bobby Witt Jr. is 22 years old doing this shit. And he's got 11 more games to go with his team in the postseason race. So you know that he's going to be insanely motivated to continue to do it. The defense is still elite. So it's all on the offense. And this guy won't stop hitting home runs. He won't stop stealing bases. He won't stop driving in the runs when the Royals need him. He's not that far off. Bobby Witt Jr. has had 10-game spurts where he has like a 0.8 F4. He can do this. He can have the greatest season ever from a shortstop, and that's what the fuck I'm watching with the Royals for the last 11 games. I cannot wait to keep watching.
Something he will never do, though. Lou Boudreau in 1948 walked 14.5% of the time.
True, he'll never be Lou. He'll never be
Lou,
Sweet Lou.
Lou Boudreau, 676 plate appearances in 1948. How many strikeouts?
Like 7.
9.
Yeah.
676 plate appearances, 9 strikeouts.
Yeah.
That's a 1.8% K rate, I think. And he
Yeah.
hit 355. Also, he got to 10 or more homers twice in his career. He hit 10 in 1941, and then in 48 he hit 18.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was like, oh, time to be powerful and not K this year.
I got to be honest, when I looked at the stats, I'm like, how did you have this 10.9 F4 season?
Plumbers.
The defense must have just
Plumbers.
Yeah, plumbers. I mean, 1948. Post integration, still like we're still on the border of plumbers. But no, I mean, I mean, the numbers are the numbers. What are we gonna say?
No doubt. For me, my thing aside from Bobby Witt was who's going to get hot? 9 guys have 25 or more plate appearances this month, none of which have an OPS over 800.
Hmm.
So, like, Yuli Gurriel has had a good 20 plate appearances this month. Is Yuli Gurriel going to be the Robin in the postseason? Hell no. Kyle Isbell has been the best regular for them this month. Is Kyle Isbell going to be Robin? No. No, Vinny hurts so bad, but like I need MJ Melendez to kick it into gear now.
Yeah.
I need somebody to kick it into gear now. And I don't know who it's going to be yet.
Yeah, MJ's look good. He's got a 115 WRC plus in September, if I read my numbers correctly. I think he does. I've been watching him. He's been playing pretty well. Yeah, I was gonna bring that, and like I agree with you. I am watching for that. I just have no idea who it's gonna be.
Right.
Which is why I think that
it's easier to watch for something that like you know what
like, oh, I'm watching this player, or I'm
Right,
watching these 3, like this grouping.
Yeah.
I don't know who's gonna do it. Michael Garcia, I mean, you couldn't have been more right on that. He's got the worst WRC plus among all hitters that are qualified. Did you know that?
What do you do? He's just
All
not-
hitters. Yeah, I bought high. You
Understood.
know what is stock?
That's okay. I have first step is admitting.
Getting on the Michael Garcia train after last year was like buying GameStop at like $70 the day after it crashed.
Oh, it's really high. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, I'm down thousands. No, but can he do it? I don't know. You say no, maybe. But I agree with you. We're watching all of them, but
Yeah.
I think the Royals are just in a good spot. I think they have enough starting pitching to get them over the edge. They're, in my mind, definitely going to make the playoffs. So I'd almost maybe be watching that in the postseason, but you're right, last 10 games. But I think this is all Bobby Witt. Let's see if he can go down in history as having the greatest shortstop season of all time.
Yeah. Minnesota, you know I've been out on for a little bit here. And the thing that I'm watching with Minnesota for the final 10 games is, are they going to pitch their way out of this? And by out of this, I'm not talking like out of trouble. I'm talking, are they going to pitch their way out of the wild card? Are they going to flip-flop with Detroit and with Seattle because their pitching has a 4.74 staff ERA this month? They've been really not good on the mound. And all of a sudden, you've got Detroit and Seattle within 2 games of you with 11, 10 games to go. I had a feeling that we were going to see a little bit of a slide. I did not think it was going to look this ugly, to be honest with you.
And you know it's bad when Pablo Lopez, a guy in their rotation, has been on an unbelievable heater. He's got an ERA under 1 in his last like 7. Actually, against that start against Cleveland, I guess the ERA went a little bit worse, but he still pitched fine. He gave up 2 earned in 6 innings. I'm going to take it a step further, Jack. I think it's almost worse than you even said, and you're down on them. They were 17 games above 500 on August 17th, a month from the day we're recording. High mark of the season. Since then, they are 9-18 in their last 27 games. And you talk about the pitching. Couldn't agree more. 5.47 bullpen ERA in that span. 5.47. That ranks 28th in the league. 4.55 starter ERA in that span. You're talking about a different span, but again, mid-4s.
Yeah.
How about the offense? 92 WRC plus in that span. That ranks 18th in the league. So you're saying Are they going to pitch their way out of the wild card? Are they going to hit their way out of the wild card as well?
Right.
Is their bullpen, even if they get a good offensive showing, even if they get a good performance from the starter, will the bullpen get them out of the wild card race? It is going as bad on all sides of the ball as it possibly could right now for the Twins when it matters the most. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for if I'm a Twins fan. I'm watching, like, where's Royce Lewis? Where are you? We need more from these guys, and nobody's really performing. Now, you get your occasional home run there from the 7 lefties that you have in the lineup, but it's not coming as much as it was in August, in frickin' July, whatever. Remember, I'm an airhead right now, the month before August. Sometimes I forget which one
Month
it is.
before August is May.
It's July. It's
Yeah.
July. I was right on that one.
You
So,
got it.
I totally agree with you. I'm just taking it further, and I'm looking at all sides of the ball. It's all bad.
Yeah. Let's go to the Tigers here because this is a total switch in tone, in tempo. It's like, hey, down slide, up slide. My thing on the Tigers is simple. Can they do it for another week and a half?
Yep.
Since this started on August 11th, I think they swept the White Sox starting on August 11th. I think it was a Friday. Since August 11th, they have the best record in Major League Baseball. They are 23-10 in their last 33. They have a staff ERA in that stretch of 2.57. Staff, not rotation, not bullpen, both of them. Pitching staff ERA of 2.57. That is the best in baseball by nearly half a run. And the only 2 other teams that have a sub-3 staff ERA since August 11th are the Houston Astros, who have had Fromber pitching out of his mind, Hunter Brown pitching out of his mind, Yusei Kikuchi pitching out of his mind, and Atlanta, dude, with the pitching triple crown guy in Chris Sale. This is the best pitching staff in baseball right now. And I'm saying right now, not meaning this year. I'm saying right now, meaning for the last month and a half. Can they do this for 2 more weeks? I hope so.
I had the exact same takeaway, and I'm just going to take it a step further in order to just look at who they're facing, and we're going to figure out if they can do it. 2 more games in Kansas City. Big win. Big come from behind win on Monday, winning 7-6 against the Royals. That
huge. Game was amazing.
Amazing. Must watch TV. That game was fantastic. And we're sitting here before they play. I think it's 7:40 p.m. Eastern, recording around in the end of the afternoon. So we don't know what happened to that game yet. So they have this game and then the next game against Kansas City. Then you got 3 in Baltimore. Tough series. But again, are the Orioles playing great? They are 12-14 in their last 30 days. Not great. Beatable right now. 3 in Tampa. Now, normally going into the Trop, no matter how bad Tampa is, they normally are really good at home, even in their worst years. Not this year. 37-38 at home this year. Again, beatable. And then you got 3 at home against the White Sox, the worst team ever. They can do it. It's right in front of them. What's that quote? Oh no, it's from my manager when he pounds the table every other week. It's right in front of us. It's right in front of us. How did I forget who says that quote? I listen to it every Sunday after a
Brian
bad series.
Kelly's the new table pounder. It's like, it happened again.
Again, just whining. Yeah. It's right there in front of you. Take Aaron Boone's advice, Tigers. But it is. It's right there. Now you can say, well, the Orioles are tough. They're beatable right now. The Rays and the Trop can be difficult. They're beatable right now. The White Sox are the worst team ever. You have the Royals on the ropes. Go do this, Detroit. Go do it. Let's go.
I'm fired up for this.
I'm
a Tigers fan for the next week and a half.
Dude, I mean, when's the last time they've seen real meaningful baseball this late in the season? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's a long time, dude. I'm thinking
2016. Am I remembering the year correct?
Why did my mind immediately go to 2013 when Jose Veras, I think his name was, allowed that grand slam to Shane Victorino? I think got ahead of him 0-2 with back-to-back like 12-6 nasty benders. And then the third one, Victorino just timed up and grand slam, like absolute mayhem at Fenway. I think it was
you are right. 2013 was when they were really, really good. But I'm saying the last time, like they finished second in the American League Central in 2016. They went
Gotcha.
86 and 75. So they're definitely playing competitive baseball at the
Can
end.
you tell me real quick, do I have this right? Jose Veras in 2013?
Okay, let me look it up.
Curveball savant and like curveball merchant. He had no other pitch. It was just Jose Veras' curveball.
And he
That's the
started with the
only.
Yankees, just saying Jose Veras in 2013. He had a great year in 2013, but it was split between the Astros and the Tigers. He did come over to the Tigers in 19 innings. He had a
Yeah.
3.20 ERA, 2.93, but he was good there for a while. And you're right. 2013 at the tail end,
There we go.
Tigers brought him in and he was great for them.
There we go. Okay,
Yeah.
nailed that one. So my Tiger takeaway was, can they do it for another week and a half? The White Sox, can they do it for another week and a half? And I'm not talking positive. I'm saying, are they actually going to do this? I'm watching the Tigers. I'm watching the White Sox, and those might be the two teams that I'm watching this week. 4-7 would make me sad because it gets them 240. I want to see them with a 3 in the 10 spot in their win total. Like, I want to see them under 40 wins. They're on the 4th 3-game winning streak of the season. They've had 4 3-game winning streaks. The season long is 4. Are they going to match it before you hear this episode? God, I hope not.
You know, it would be a complete nightmare in Detroit.
No. Nope.
Yeah, I don't want to put it out in the university either. But what I will do is just remind everybody that the 2003 Tigers have the worst record in the modern era at 43 and 119. Now the Mets
are 40 and 120.
Yeah, but that wasn't a 162 game season.
They had 2 games wiped out.
You know, so I guess
that's the worst winning percentage of the modern era.
Yeah, but it wasn't 162. So
Yeah.
I just didn't count it. Is that fair? Maybe it's not fair, but regardless, we're using the 2003 Tigers. 2003 Tigers were fucking horrible. Like they were horrible. 43 and 119. The White Sox are 36 and 115. Just like you said, they need to go 7-4 to tie those Tigers. They got 2 against the Angels. Winnable, right? I mean, the Angels stink.
They pillaged Reed Detmers on Monday.
Against the Padres. Probably get swept.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Maybe you get 1. Maybe.
Hopefully not.
No shot. 3 again at home against the Angels.
God.
Like, they could conceivably win that series. And then 3 in Detroit. Oh, man. Long pause, Tigers fans. I think, you know what we need right now? Let's take a quick break.
Yeah. Okay. Now that we have that cleansed, why don't we wrap with the American League West? The Houston Astros, it's simple, and I actually have nothing written after this to formulate my point. I had questions 2 weeks ago about what the postseason rotation is going to look like. I have questions now about what the postseason rotation is going to look like. They look awesome. I love that I can watch Kyle Tucker play baseball again.
Yes.
But now, okay, Framber's in the rotation. Kikuchi is in the rotation. They are 8-0 in Kikuchi starts since he came over.
I called it the worst trade in the history of the deadline. He's been the best acquisition of the deadline. It's like, what the? Oh, I don't know anything.
It was a lot. No. The prospect haul was a lot. We knew that, but damn, has he been throwing well? And he's probably incentivized to re-sign this offseason. If he re-signs, I think you can. But I don't even say eat it because Loperfido might be awesome and Bloss might be awesome and Will Wagner could be a big league piece. There's a lot with that trade, but Kikuchi is in that rotation. Framber is in that rotation. I think Hunter Brown is clearly in that rotation. Arrighetti, I think, is clearly out of it, and he moves to the bullpen. So all of a sudden, it becomes Verlander, Ronel Blanco. Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, I have the exact same takeaway because this team is 4 games up in the division. I just want to know how the playoff rotation forms because right now they're working with a 6-man. All the guys you said, Valdez, Verlander, Brown, Blanco, Kikuchi, and Arrighetti. You'd assume they're going to give Verlander the start in the postseason. But would you? Arm and I just talked about this, so we don't have to exactly just hash out the same thing again. I'd be nervous.
I would too, and I think Verlander is a pro's pro. And I think if he feels like Ronel Blanco offers them a better opportunity to win, he tells Joe Espada that the ball should be given to Ronel Blanco.
Or is it very short leash? Verlander, we're going to pull you if you don't look good as soon as you don't look good.
I can see
Maybe
it.
that's in the first, maybe it's in the second, maybe it's in the third, fourth. Maybe he just keeps shoving and you're fine. But I think that's what they'll do. Piggyback with Ronell, possibly just Arrighetti be the swingman type. Because you might need Arrighetti in some. You say Kikuchi starts.
I think
Hunter Brown
Arrighetti-
starts. These guys aren't perfect.
I
Hunter
think
Brown's still
Arrighetti-
young. Kikuchi's still unproven in the postseason. Like,
Yeah.
you might need Arrighetti then for them. So I think this is a good thing for the Astros. But the only thing that we're watching is, well, then how is it going to slate out? I think that's what yeah.
Right. And I'll tell you, I think Arrighetti can be gross in 2-inning spurts.
Me
in the
too.
post.
He's nasty. He's either
He's
terrible or awesome. Yeah.
And that's kind of what relievers do.
And I kind of like that upside in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because he could have one of these weird out of body experiences where it's like Spencer Arrighetti is untouchable now for the Astros. How are they going to lose? Or Spencer Arrighetti was freaking terrible and blew them a game. I don't know.
How are they going to win?
I
Right.
can't wait to watch, though.
I can't wait to watch.
Mariners?
Seattle. Yeah. The Mariners. What you got?
Kind of the same thing. Can the Mariners do it?
Mm-hmm.
They're 2 games back of the wild card. And I assume you have the same takeaway. Maybe you have some stats to kind of break down how they've gotten here. We already talked about how their offense has been great. The rotation has been good. Bryce Miller has been unbelievable. Brian Wu has been unbelievable. But the guys who were used to being unbelievable, Gilbert, Kirby, have not. But they can do it. They have 3 games against the Yankees at home. They can beat my Yankees. Absolutely they can with that rotation. They have 3 in Texas. The Mariners have dominated the Rangers. They are 8-2 against the Rangers this season. Dominated them. They are going to have the most up. They're going to have tons of confidence going into that series. Now it's in Texas, but still, they can win that. They can also win in Houston. The Mariners have a 6-4 lead in that season series this year. Then they have 3 at home against the A's. The Mariners have a 6-4 lead in that series. So you're asking, well, they probably want to face the Angels, right? Haven't they dominated the rest of the division? No. Angels are 8-5 against the Mariners. So if they're facing 3 teams in their division, weirdly enough, based on the past, these are the teams that they would want to face. And of course, the Yankee series is going to be tough, but you get them in T-Mobile where you've been much better all season long. And it's not like the Yankees are playing awesome baseball right now. They're coming off a great series, but again, the Yankees going on a West Coast road trip against good pitching. I've seen this story before. They can do this. They're set up right with the Tigers because we're talking about the Tigers, their electric staff, right? Who's been the best offense in that span? Arguably the Mariners.
Yeah.
And we have more faith, I think, in their starters than we do the Tigers. Now, the Tigers, I feel like, have a little bit more magic right now, which is hard to quantify. But if we're talking about paper on talent, we're talking about the rest of the way out. The Mariners can definitely do this too. Oh, this is awesome. This is so fun.
So I tried to figure out a way to quantify this. What I said is this offense thing actually happening? They lead the American League in runs scored in the month of September. They're scoring 5.5 runs per game. I looked at runs scored. There are 6 months that we're working with. I throw away the 3 days in March. April, May, June, July, August, September. That's how they go in order. They are number 1 in the American League in runs scored in September. They were bottom half of the American League every single other month except June when they were 2 runs out of the bottom half. Then I found Team OPS. They have the best Team OPS in the American League in the month of September. 14 games, they have an 804 Team OPS. That's more than 50 points better than Houston, who is second. All 5 full months before this, they were firmly bottom 5 in the American League in Team OPS. Is it too little too late? Or are you getting hot at the perfect time?
I think they might be getting hot at the perfect time because it's always been with the Mariners. Can they hit?
Yep.
Maybe then this is the month where they finally hit. And that might be enough to get them in there. Because at the end of the day, I love the Tigers. Logan Gilbert can bounce back. Kirby can bounce back. And then the rest of them have been great. You know? But I agree with you also, while disagreeing, if that makes sense. Because I'm very confused and I can't wait to watch. And I think that's what we're talking about right now. We cannot wait to watch what unfolds.
For sure. three clunkers to take us out of this. The
Yep.
Rangers. I wrote three names down: Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter, Jacob DeGrom.
Yep.
I
I added a fourth because Max Scherzer.
Mhm.
How many more Max Scherzer starts are we going to get to watch?
Right. Maybe
So I
two.
just want to see potentially the end.
Yeah.
We don't know, right? He's been banged up. I think he plans on coming back next year. But again, I think it's easy to say that you're planning on coming back next year instead of just saying, okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
now going to retire at the way end of the season, because Scherzer deserves, I don't know if he deserves like a parade, but I think he deserves like a going away tour.
Like Mo got a farewell tour. Like, I'm not
Miguel
saying
Cabrera did.
Mo, yeah. I mean, Scherzer, in terms of like immortality in baseball, is Scherzer there with Miguel Cabrera? Shit, maybe.
No, he's
No.
close. He's one of the best pitchers I've ever seen.
DeGrom should, no, not DeGrom, sorry. Verlander should get a farewell tour. Kershaw should get a farewell tour. Verlander's or Scherzer. God, I mean this sneeze thing is killing. uh Verlander and Kershaw should get farewell tours. Scherzer is probably on the outside looking in of that clumping.
But he's like
He's
next up.
right there. He's right
He's
there.
like, if we're gonna cut off, he's the
Do you get a
last in.
gift from every team you visit? It's tough.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd give him a farewell tour.
I
But
don't think.
but whatever, he deserves more than retiring at the end of the season and just kind of going off into the wind.
Fair.
Max Scherzer.
Yeah. Oakland. I've got a very specific one.
Me too.
I wonder if we're going to be on the same wavelength here. Can Brent Rooker hit 300 with 40 homers?
Yep.
Spot on?
Not spot on, but we're on the same wavelength. Brent Rooker has a 170 WRC plus this year, folks. Shohei Ohtani's at 167. I tweeted that out. Let me say that again. Brent Rooker of the Oakland A's has the third highest WRC plus in baseball. Fourth is Shohei Ohtani. No, I won't say it again, but we understand what I'm saying now.
Yeah.
Like, put that in your head, because it
So-
took me a while to put it in my head and have it sit there and not just go through one ear out the other.
So you went to the all-encompassing. I went to the two standard numbers. Like, you could say, oh, he had a better WRC plus than Shohei Ohtani. My thing is like, he hit 300 with 40 homers. It's like, wow.
And I'm going to take it a step further. Can he have a higher WRC plus than Mookie and Acuna did last year at 171?
Ooh.
Ronald Acuna Jr., who won the MVP 40-70, or Mookie Betts, who was right there with him. Can he get higher than them?
Mm.
Unbelievable year. Just
As
unbelievable year.
As it stands right now, hitting 302 with 38 homers, I think he can go 300 with 40.
That's incredible.
Insane.
That's like what Hank Aaron did for 20 years straight.
God, don't do that.
Just saying. He did one
Don't
Hank
do
Aaron
that.
year. Brent Rooker and Hank Aaron in the same bucket, sort of.
I think Chris Davis did that too. So let's
okay,
not.
that's accurate. That's fine. But
Right.
I'm going more positive.
Did
I'm an
Dante
optimist.
Bichette do it? I think Dante Bichette might have done
Okay,
it.
all right. I get it now. But I went with Hank Aaron instead.
Last but not least, the LA Angels. Did you have a single thing?
I did. I'm not, but I want to be clear. I'm not watching an Angels game for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But for the exercise, we had to. And Angels fans, don't take that personally. What am I watching here? But something that I think Angel diehard fans should be watching is Mickey Moniak good enough to be an everyday player? This is the guy you traded for. This was the #1 overall pick. He's 26 years old. This year, he has a 0.0 FWAR. He has the same FWAR as all of us sitting here. He's got a 79 WRC plus in 114 games. Really his first full season, because last year he was good. 114 WRC plus. He was an above average hitter in 85 games. So that's what I'm watching here. Can we get a little hot? Can we flash some talent? Or is this year lost in the year 26? Like, that's your prime. And you're having a lost year when you've been relatively healthy. Is he the center fielder for the Angels? Because Trout has come out and said that he's willing to move to a corner, move to DH. That's a new report. He's willing to do that. Okay, so does that mean Moniak is a center fielder? I don't know.
Right.
I'm going to pretend to be watching it.
Okay. Fair. The thing that I don't have to watch, and I hope people send it to me, what's the weirdest jersey we can find at Angel Stadium? And I'm going to give you options on the active roster. Nico Cavadas, Eric Wagaman, I think, Wagaman, position player, like playing for them. I haven't watched it
player,
yet.
not even in position.
Charles LeBlanc, Gustavo Campero,
Ooh.
Jack Lopez, Kenny Rosenberg. What sucks is Bryce Teodosio is on the IL, Samuel Aldegari is on the IL, and Caden Dana is back with the Pandas after one good start and two brutal starts.
Is it funny that he got sent to AA, not AAA?
No, they hate Salt Lake.
Ah.
I don't know why, but they hate AAA for some reason. He got called up from AA. He didn't make a AAA start.
No wonder the Angels stink when you hate your AAA team.
Hate AAA. I don't know. They might just deem it as like a launch pad, but even their top prospects, like Christian Moore is going to get the call up from AA. I don't think Shonowell logged a plate appearance in AA. I'm not even sure if Neto logged a plate appearance in AAA. Let me figure that out actually, because I don't think Nolan Shonowell or Zach Neto appeared as a Salt Lake B.
But why would they send Caden Dana back to double and not triple?
Again, because it's a pitcher in the PCL, they just don't want him going there.
Oh, that's fair.
Shonowell,
That's actually very fair.
Yeah. Shonowell did not play a game in Salt Lake. Zach Neto, let's see, played 4 games in Salt Lake last year.
4.
Christian Moore won't. I don't think Kahanowitz pitched in AAA. Like it's crazy that they just ignore Salt Lake.
I mean, there's so many bad things to say about the Angels. Like,
yeah, there's some dumb stuff there.
Yeah. So that'll do it for this episode of the Just Baseball Show. Hopefully everybody enjoyed one thing to watch for every American League team. National League, you're up next. Aram and I are going to do the National League on Thursday's show. And then Friday, we got a big old mailbag with the 3 of us. So we'll be dropping that on our Instagram and on our Twitter. That'll drop Thursday early morning. Ask all the questions humanly possible. You can follow us on Twitter at justbb_media or on Instagram at justbaseballshow. Those will be posted there. So make sure to fill it up. Probably our last mailbag of the regular season before we get into the playoffs. So as many questions as you can possibly ask, we greatly appreciate it. We'd also greatly appreciate it if you hit that big red subscribe button on YouTube. How about hit the like button as well? And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts, if you could rate and review 5 stars, the best way to support this show without spending a dime. Make sure to go check out Game Time, code Just Baseball. You need tickets. BetMGM, code Just Baseball. You want to gamble a little bit? First bet offer. Go take advantage. For Jack McMullen, I'm Peter Apple. We will see you tomorrow. And with that, thank you, everybody.